Hey Dad, I heard through the grapevine, or also from being in the sleeper of the truck when it happened, that you once rolled over a semi. What was that like?
What was that like? Violent. I got knocked out twice in that rollover, so that's what it was like. It was violent.
Well, how'd it happen?
Um, I was coming home from Prudhoe Bay. You have the Alaska Haul Road, and then the last 70 miles it changes to the Elliott. And so I was 3 mile Dalton Highway, so I was 3 miles away from the Elliott. And it was in the middle of January. It had been 30-40 below, and on my trip up it was probably 20-30 below, but on my way back it had warmed up substantially and started to rain, but the ground was still 30-40 below. It started to rain at night. A Chinook came through and warmed everything up. So when I was pulling 3 mile and got up to the top, that's when the rain had started, and I tried to stop in the parking lot up top, and I slid all the way across the parking lot. I should have known at that time to just call it a night and see what the next day had for me, but I'm 3 miles away from pavement. I'm almost home. You know how it is. So I got out and I chained up everything, chained up all the drives, threw a steer chain on, threw a drag chain on the trailer, and I just took off down the mountain. It was all downhill for the next 3 miles basically. And the very first super that I went around, which is basically 2 mile, there's a big super, and as I went around it, I saw in the rear view mirror and I had a load of scrap steel on. I saw my trailer just kick out and slide right off the side of the mountain. So I kind of knew in advance that I was going to go flying off the mountain, and sure enough it did. It just whipped us around, and I gave it gas and all that, and you can see later where I had dug 2 trenches with the drive tires as it was pulling me off the mountain. But once it got me off the side, all that inertia whipped the truck. And so the truck was actually airborne for a little bit as it whipped it around to come down the mountain. And that was one of the only things I remember, is just like a silence of us flying through the air, and then there was an impact, and I got knocked out on that impact. And when I woke up for a moment and realized we were tumbling down the mountain, and it was just chaos and violence, and I got knocked out again. And I woke up in the driver's seat. I was wearing my seatbelt, thank God.
Well,
Hey, hang on. I already know what you're going to ask me, and I'll just answer it. So I look around me, and first thing I noticed is that the sleeper is completely off the truck. I had a W9 Kenworth, and that's about when it dawned on me that I had 2 of my sons in that sleeper with me, and basically my heart stopped. And so I jumped out. Actually, the doors wouldn't work, and I just jumped out through the sleeper hole. There's no sleeper anymore, and just jumped out of the truck that way and started running up the mountain. And then I saw something moving up there. I looked up the mountain, and it was my 2 sons. They had on those W900s, I had the Aerodyne, the Aerodyne sleeper. You see, like this one over here, and that top cap just riveted on there. And what happened is, on the first rollover, the boys were in the top bunk. That fiberglass top cap ripped off and then deposited them both right there on the mountainside, and they were unscathed. They didn't get hurt at all, so I lucked out there also. And that was pretty much it. Even though we rolled multiple times down a mountainside and trashed everything, all 3 of us walked away pretty much without a scratch. I was banged up a little bit, but maybe it made me a little dumber, but that's okay.